I'm standing in my kitchen holding the two most important pieces of paper in my life: her diary, my letter. And my phone is ringing, her name glowing on the screen like a small, insistent sun. I let it ring twice, 3 times. Then I answer. Hi, sweetheart. There's a breath on the other end, long, like she's been holding it since she left this morning. Did you see it? She asks. Her voice is flat, like she's braced for impact. And I know exactly what she means. She left that diary open on purpose. This call, she's not checking on me. She's detonating something and waiting to hear the explosion. Yes, I say. I saw it. Another silence. I can hear traffic behind her, so she's outside somewhere. She's pacing, probably. She paces when she doesn't know what to do with her feelings. She gets that from me. Mom, Her voice cracks at the edge. I needed you to know. I didn't know how to say it to your face. And here's the moment. Here's the fork in the road. I could cry. I could defend myself. I could list every sacrifice, every night I worked 2 jobs, every birthday cake I baked at midnight because I forgot until midnight. I could go to war with a 23-year-old girl over who suffered more. But I look down at the letter in my hand, my own handwriting, 19 years old in ink, and I make a decision. Ellie, I say, I need you to come home. She hesitates. Mom, not to fight, not to explain. I just need 20 minutes and a cup of tea and your face across from mine. That's all I'm asking. The line is quiet so long, I almost think she's hung up. Then, okay. She walks through the door 40 minutes later, and she looks so young when she's scared. She's 22 years old, confident and sharp and funny in every room except this one. And right now, she looks like she's 9, standing in my kitchen doorway, waiting to be sent to her room. I've already made the tea. I've put the diary on the counter. Not hidden, not thrust forward, just there, acknowledging it. And beside it, face down, is the letter. She sits across from me at the kitchen table and wraps both hands around her mug. She doesn't look at me right away. I meant what I wrote, she says. I want you to know I meant it. I know you did, I say. And I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. Because some of it is true. There were years I wasn't there the way you needed. There were years the lights were on inside this house and nobody was home. She looks up then. She wasn't expecting that. But Ellie, there's something I have to show you, and I need you to hear me before you read it. I need you to understand something about those years. I reach across the table and I turn the letter over, push it toward her, slowly. I wrote this the night you were 3 years old.
She looks at the page, at the date. Her eyes narrow, and I can see her doing the math. She picks it up and she reads. I watch her face while she does. I've imagined this moment 100 times. I thought I'd want to look away, but I don't. I want to see her. I want to be in the room with her, while she finally steps inside the part of my life I locked up and wallpapered over and planted flowers in front of so no one would know there was a door. She gets halfway down the first page and her face changes. The bracing falls away. Her mouth opens slightly. She reads the part where I said I was standing at the edge of something I couldn't name, where I wrote, I am so tired I can't feel the floor, where I described looking at her baby photo on my phone and feeling both saved and crushed by it, because she was the reason I wanted to stay, and somehow also the reason the wait felt impossible. Because love, when you're that far down, doesn't always feel like a lifeline. Sometimes it feels like one more thing you're failing. She reads the part where I made the choice, where I wrote, I'm going to make the call. I'm going to ask for help. Not because I'm strong, because she deserves the chance to know me when I figure out how to be okay. Ellie puts the letter down. Her face is completely open in a way I haven't seen in years. No armor, no grievance, just her. Mom, she says, and that's it. Just that one word. I never told you, I say, because I didn't want you to carry it. You were 3, and then you were 8, and then 13, and there was never a right time, and I told myself I was protecting you. But I think, if I'm honest, I was protecting myself, because if you knew, you'd know how fragile I really was, and I couldn't stand the thought of you looking at me differently. She stands up from the table, and I don't know what she's going to do, and then she's around the table, and her arms are around me, and she's holding on tighter than she has since she was small. I feel something loosen in my chest that I have been holding for 19 years. We stay like that for a long time, long enough that the tea goes cold, long enough that the light through the window shifts. Finally, she pulls back and sits beside me, not across from me, but beside me, on the same side. She picks the letter up again and reads the last few lines quietly. You chose to stay, she says. Not a question, just reading it out loud, making it real. Every day since, I tell her. She nods. She's processing. I can see her building something in her mind, laying new floors over old understanding. The things I wrote, she says slowly, about you not being there, were true, I say. I was there, in body, a lot of years when I was far away in every other way. That's real, Ellie. Your hurt is real. I don't need you to take it back. She exhales. But you were fighting something I didn't know about. That's not an excuse, I say carefully. It's just the rest of the picture. And you deserve the whole picture. You always did. I just wasn't brave enough to give it to you. She looks at me then. Really looks at me. Like she's seeing someone new inside a face she's known her whole life. I don't want a different mother, she says. I wrote that when I was so angry, and I know, I say. I know. I want you to get better. I want us to figure out how to talk to each other. And that right there is the most grown-up thing I've ever heard her say. And I realize she didn't need me to be invincible. She needed me to be honest. All this time, I thought the truth would shatter her. But she was already broken by the silence. We talk for 3 hours. Real talk. The kind that doesn't happen in car rides or at holidays. We talk about what I went through. We talk about what she remembers, what she filled in with her own imagination, what she got wrong, and what she got exactly right. We talk about my mother and hers, and the way pain gets handed down like heirloom furniture. You inherit it before anyone checks whether it's worth keeping. At some point, she asks me if I'm okay now, if I have been. And I tell her the truth. Mostly yes, some days no. That I still have the number I called that night saved in my phone. Not because I need it the way I once did, but because it reminds me I was once brave enough to ask for help. And that I can be again. She tells me she's been seeing someone, a therapist. She was embarrassed to tell me. She thought I'd see it as a failure. I laugh. The real kind, the watery kind, the kind that lives right next to crying. Baby girl, I say, that is the single bravest thing you could have told me. She laughs too. And the kitchen, this kitchen where I found the diary this morning, where everything cracked open and I stood shaking over 2 pieces of paper, it feels different now, lighter. Like someone opened a window in a room that had been sealed shut for years. I fold the letter and I hand it back to her. Keep it, I tell her. It was always yours anyway. That's why I wrote it. For the version of you who might someday need to know her mother was human. She holds it against her chest. And for the first time in a long, long time, we are just 2 people who love each other, finally standing in the same truth. That was enough. That was everything.